All right, today we are diving deep into the core principles from Stephen Bartlett's The Diary of a CEO. And listen, this isn't just another business book. Think of it more as his personal blueprint for building huge companies and, maybe more importantly, a successful life. So let's break down his framework.
So Bartlett kicks things off with this really powerful idea. Greatness isn't some kind of magic trick, it's a structure. He argues that any real success, in pretty much any field, is built on mastering just 4 fundamental areas of your life. So, what are they?
Here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick overview of these 4 pillars. Then we're going to dive into each one, mastering the self, the incredible power of storytelling, finding your guiding philosophy, and finally, building a winning culture.
Okay, let's start with the big picture. These 4 pillars, the self, storytelling, philosophy, and teamwork, they're basically presented as the essential interconnected framework for building anything that truly matters.
And you have to notice the flow here. It's so logical. It all begins internally with you, your mindset, your skills. From there, it moves outward to how you communicate all that value through storytelling. Your philosophy, well, that acts as the compass for your whole journey. And finally, teamwork is the amplifier. It's what lets you build something way, way bigger than yourself.
So let's jump into that first and, honestly, most important pillar. Mastering the self is the absolute bedrock. I mean, without a strong internal foundation, anything else you try to build is probably just going to crumble.
And that's the real question, isn't it? It's not enough to just want to be better. You need a system, a way to actually build yourself up. And Bartlett offers a really clear step-by-step process for this. And here it is, Bartlett's system. He calls it the 5 buckets. And the order, well, the order is everything. You don't just get a great reputation because you want one. No, you start with knowledge. Then you have to turn that knowledge into real practical skills. Those skills make you valuable to your network. That network then gives you access to resources, and only after doing all of that, consistently, do you earn that ultimate asset, your reputation.
You know, a huge piece of mastering yourself is the story you tell yourself about yourself. This just lays it out so clearly. If that little voice in your head is always negative, it literally limits what you can do. But if you actively work on shaping a better self-story, one based on what you've actually accomplished, that's how you build the resilience and the optimism you need to keep pushing forward. Okay, so once you've started working on that internal foundation, the next pillar is all about communicating your value to the world. Storytelling. That's how you get people to listen, to care, and ultimately to believe in what you're doing.
You see, great storytelling isn't just an art, it's also a science. Bartlett points out these proven psychological triggers. Take the peak end rule. It means people will pretty much only remember the very best moment and the final moment, so you gotta nail those. Or the mere exposure effect. That's why you see the same ads again and again. Familiarity literally makes us prefer things. Understanding these little quirks of the human brain makes your message so much more powerful.
So what's the secret to cutting through all the noise? Simple. Don't be boring. Use things that are unconventional, emotional, surprising. You have to earn people's attention, and you have to do it right away. A dry, logical pitch gets forgotten in a second. But a great story? That sticks.
And that brings us to our third pillar, philosophy. Think of this as your internal operating system. It's the set of values and principles that guide you when things get tough, when you've got a hard choice to make, or, when nobody's watching.
A core philosophy that Bartlett really believes in is Kaizen. The idea is so simple, but it's incredibly profound. Don't try to make one giant leap. Instead, just focus on making tiny, 1% improvements every single day. Over time, the compounding effect of all those little changes leads to absolutely massive results.
And this right here perfectly illustrates a huge part of that philosophy, how you think about failure. A culture that's afraid to fail just gets slow and stuck. But a philosophy that embraces failure, that sees it as data, as a lesson, that's a culture that will constantly innovate and grow.
Wow, what a powerful mindset shift. Instead of seeing stress as this terrible thing to avoid, just reframe it. The fact that you feel pressure means you're doing something that actually matters. It's a sign that you are in the arena. You can use that energy to sharpen your focus and your performance.
All right, and that brings us to the final pillar. Look, you can be a master of yourself, have a great story and a rock-solid philosophy, but to build something truly massive, you need a team. This is all about scaling your vision by creating a winning culture.
So what does a winning culture even look like? Well, it's a place that focuses on what people are good at, not what they're bad at. It takes that Kaizen idea and applies it to the whole team, always looking for those small daily improvements. It celebrates the wins to build momentum, and maybe most importantly, it connects the day-to-day work to a meaningful purpose. That's the fuel that keeps the best people fired up.
And a key part of building that team is understanding value. Your value as a leader or even as an individual contributor isn't just about how good you are, it's about how rare and impactful your skills are in a specific context. The real light bulb moment here is that you can dramatically boost your worth and your team's power by taking your existing skills and applying them somewhere they're really needed.
So, as we wrap up this breakdown of Stephen Bartlett's framework, it really all comes back to you. When you look at these 4 pillars, self, storytelling, philosophy, and teamwork, which is the one that, if you just improved it by 10%, would have the biggest impact on your life right now? Definitely something to think about.